is set to begin in earnest. Of course, there has been businesses taking place away from the chambers. Committees have been doing deliberations here and there, but the plenary sessions of the National Assembly are set to commence from today, and that business will begin by the adoption or consideration of a number of members who have been proposed to serve in the House Business Committee. Among those members include Honorable Joyce Ekai Emanikor, Honorable Shadrach John Mose, Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Honorable Mohammed Abdi Hakim Kaim Osman, Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, Honorable Mishi Juma Hamisi Mboko, and Honorable Godfrey Otsotsi. That motion will be moved by the leader of the majority party, and it is pursuant to Standing Order 17(1) of the National Assembly, and that there shall be a select committee to be designated the House Business Committee, consisting of the Speaker, who shall be the chairperson, the leader of the majority party or a representative designated in writing, the leader of the minority party or a representative designated in writing, the majority party whip or a representative designated in writing, the minority party whip or a representative designated in writing as well, and also 7 other members who shall be nominated by parliamentary parties and approved by the House at the commencement of every session, reflecting the relative majorities of the seats held by each of the parliamentary parties in the National Assembly, and taking into consideration the interest of independence. The House Business Committee shall be appointed within 7 days on assembly of a new House. The same Standing Orders 171 of the National Assembly states that in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker shall attend and chair the meetings of the House Business Committee. The House Business Committee shall prepare and, if necessary, from time to time adjust the parliamentary calendar with the approval of the House. It shall also monitor and oversee the implementation of the House business and programs. The House Business Committee shall also implement the standing orders respecting the scheduling or programming of the business of the House and the functioning of the committees of the House. It shall also determine the order in which the reports of committees shall be debated in the House. The Business Committee may take decisions and issue directives and guidelines to prioritize or postpone any business of the House, acting with the concurrence of the leader of the majority party or the leader of the minority party, as the case may be. And also, it shall consider such matters as may from time to time arise in connection with the business of the House, and shall have and perform such powers and functions as are conferred on and ascribed to it by these standing orders, or from time to time by the House. The chairperson and at least 1/3 of the other members of the House Business Committee shall form a quorum. If for any reason a member of the House Business Committee is unable to attend, the leader in the House of the party which nominated that member may appoint another member in that member's place for the period for which the member is unable to attend. Those are the provisions of the National Assembly Standing Orders 171 from subsection 1 to subsection 6. If you're just joining us, the 5th session of the 12th Parliament, the National Assembly, is about to begin. There is some activity at the door. There is the Sergeant at Arms, the Mace, followed by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justin Muturi. This broadcast is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. The broadcast is available on Bunge TV as well as YouTube, courtesy of the Parliament of Kenya YouTube channel, as well as KBC Channel 1. My name is Edward Kabasa. Enjoy your viewing.
Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests we committed to our charge. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Members who are coming in, please make your way in. Honourable members, I wish to welcome you back to the August House following the long recess, and hope that you are sufficiently rested and rejuvenated in readiness for the commencement of the 5th session of the 12th Parliament, which will obviously be a busy one. Honourable members, as we commence the session, I wish to bring to the attention of the House that, going by our practices and the standing orders, certain business that was not concluded at the end of the last session, such as motions, as well as questions and statements, which are not being reported to, has now lapsed. To this end, every chairperson of a committee or individual member who wishes to reintroduce such business is advised to do so by contacting the table office to revive that business. I'm happy to report that I've already seen quite a number of members and some chairpersons who have already taken advantage of this practice. This, however, does not apply to bills and petitions, which were saved by way of a resolution of the House on December 3rd, 2020. Now, members, I also wish to draw the attention of the House to the fact that the term of sessional committees has come to an end, and therefore they will be reconstituted afresh as per the usual practice. These include the Committee on Parliamentary Powers and Privileges and the Committee on Member Services and Facilities. Further, certain other committees with set term limits also require to be reconstituted afresh. That is, the Committee on Appointments and the Budget and Appropriations Committee. As such, the Committee on Selection is required to expedite the process of nominating members to serve in the said committees. Honourable members, as we also recall, the Business Laws Amendment Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 50 of 2020, was published on the 14th of December 2020 and read the first time during the special sitting of the House on 22nd of December 2020. The bill, which is sponsored by the leader of the majority party, seeks to make amendments to various statutes which do not warrant the publication of separate bills to facilitate the ease of doing business in Kenya. Honourable members, the bill proposes amendments to 10 statutes. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 127, the said omnibus bill has been referred to various relevant departmental committees for consideration and public participation. I wish to clarify that the committees shall consider the bill in the following manner. Number one, the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs will deal with the provisions of the bill touching on the following laws. A, the Law of Contract Act, Chapter 23 of the Laws of Kenya. B, the Companies Act, number 17 of 2015. C, the Insolvency Act, number 18 of 2015. And D, the Small Claims Court Act, number 2 of 2016. Number 2, the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare will deal with the provisions of the bill touching on the following laws. A, the Industrial Training Act, Chapter 237 of the Laws of Kenya. B, the National Social Security Fund Act, number 45 of 2013. Number 3, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning will consider the provisions of the bill proposing to amend the Stamp Duty Act, Chapter 480 of the Laws of Kenya. Number 4, the Departmental Committee on Health will consider the provisions of the bill proposing to amend the National Hospital Insurance Fund Act, number 9 of 1998. Number 5, the Departmental Committee on Lands will consider the provisions of the bill proposing to amend the Land Registration Act, number 3 of 2012. And finally, number 6, the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing will consider the provisions of the bill proposing to amend the National Construction Authority Act, number 41 of 2011. Honourable members, the cited committees should facilitate public participation as they consider their relevant portions of the bill, following which they should file their respective reports with the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, which I have appointed to be the lead committee on the bill. The lead committee is thereafter expected to table the consolidated report in the House prior to commencement of the second reading on the bill. The House is accordingly guided. I thank you, members. Next. Leader. Honourable members, I do appreciate that we are still observing the COVID-19 protocols, and I can see we are almost a full house in that respect. There is one more message which has been delayed, but it will be coming. So I'll proceed with the next order. We'll go back to further communication.
Order number 3, messages.
Honourable members, you may recall that towards the end of the last session, the National Assembly passed the Employment Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2019. The bill was sponsored by the member for Gilgil constituency, the Honourable Martha Wangari, MP. Following its passage, I did present the bill for assent to His Excellency the President in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and our standing orders. However, in exercise of the powers conferred under Article 115, Clause 1, Paragraph B of the Constitution, His Excellency the President, by way of a memorandum, has since referred the bill back to the National Assembly for reconsideration. Honourable members, in his memorandum, the President has expressed reservations on sub-clauses 4, 5, and 6 of Clause 3 of the bill, which sought to insert a new section 29A to provide for pre-adoptive leave to parents of a child born as a result of a surrogate motherhood agreement. The proposed new section provides that a parent of a child born through surrogacy shall be entitled to parental leave with full pay, and thereafter sets out the procedure for applying for such leave. Amongst the reasons for his reservations, His Excellency the President notes that amending the law in the manner proposed in the bill will lead to surrogacy agreements operating in a vacuum in terms of absence of a substantive legal and regulatory framework governing surrogacy in Kenya. While noting that surrogacy is a novel reproductive science, His Excellency the President observed that it touches on children's reproductive rights and the concept of family, and therefore there is need to first put in place a rigorous substantive legal and regulatory framework to protect all parties within the surrogacy agreements. His Excellency the President also objects to the proposal on grounds that the provisions relating to surrogate motherhood agreements are of a substantive nature, hence necessitating the formulation of a comprehensive policy arrived at after broad public participation and stakeholder engagements that will inform legislative positions. Consequently, the President recommends deletion of subclauses 4, 5, and 6 of Clause 5 of the bill. Honourable members, standing under 154, subsection 2, requires the House to consider the President's reservations within 21 days upon receipt of the memorandum. In this regard, the reservations of the President, as contained in his memorandum, now stand committed to the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Welfare for consideration. The committee should table its report soonest to allow the House to consider the President's reservations within the same timelines. Honourable members, the consideration of the President's reservations will be done in accordance with the provisions of Article 115 of the Constitution, as well as the Speaker's communication of July 28, 2015, relating to the consideration of the President's reservations to a bill and amendments thereto. I now direct that the clerk to circulate the memorandum of His Excellency the President on the same bill to all members so as to familiarize themselves with its contents. I thank you. The member who is trotting in. Honourable members, this is a message from the Senate. Honourable members, as you are aware, Standing Order 41, subsection 4 of the National Assembly Standing Orders requires the Speaker to report to the House any message received from the Senate. In this regard, I wish to report to the House that last month, I did receive 2 messages from the Senate regarding its passage of the following 2 bills, which had also been considered and passed by the National Assembly towards the end of last year. A, the T bill, Senate Bill number 36 of 2018, and B, the Anti-Doping Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2020. Honourable members, in summary, the messages convey that the Senate, by resolutions made on 21st and 29th of December 2020, respectively, passed the 2 bills in the form passed by the National Assembly. This action concluded the bicameral processing of the 2 bills. Subsequently, following presentation for assent in accordance with the requirements of Articles 110, Clause 5, and 112, Clause 2, Paragraph A of the Constitution, His Excellency the President did give his assent to both bills on the 31st of December 2020. The 2 have since become part of the laws of Kenya. The House is accordingly informed. I thank you. Next.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, may I start by wishing you Happy New Year and the House Happy New Year 2021. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, February the 9th of 2021. Number 1, the supplementary estimate 1 for the financial year 2020-2021 that includes the financial year 2020-2021 supplementary estimate 1, program-based budget, financial year 2020-2021 supplementary estimate 1, recurrent estimates volume 1 and 2, and C, financial year 2020-2021 supplementary estimate 1, development estimates volumes 1, 2, and 3, and lastly, the memorandum on the supplementary estimate number 1 for the financial year 2020-2021. Number 2, the legal notice number 212 of 2020 relating the standards, verification of conformity to standards and other applicable regulations of imports, amendment order number 20 of 2020, and the explanatory memorandum from the Minister of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Number 3, the legal notice number 224 of 2020 relating to public health, COVID-19 indoor meetings rules of 2020, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Health. Legal notice number 3 of 2021 relating to the warehouse receipt system regulations 2021 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries and Cooperatives. The legal notice number 4 of 2021 relating to the civil aviation regulatory fees and charges for unmanned aircraft systems regulations of 2020, and the explanatory memorandum from the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. We have the National Government Budget Implementation Review Report for the first quarter of financial year 2020-2021 from the Office of the Controller of Budget. Next, the first quarter County Government Budget Implementation Review Report for the financial year 2020-2021 from the Office of the Controller of Budget. Next, the report of the Auditor General with respect of the State Department for Housing, Urban Development and Public Works for the 4 months ending 31st of October 2018 and the certificates therein. And next is the report of the Auditor General in respect of the Railway Development Levy Fund on the operations account, financial statement for the year ended 30th of June 2019 and the certificate therein. And lastly, the recommendation on the basis for equitable sharing of revenue between the national and county government for the financial year 2021 to /2022 from the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
There was a member, I think one or two members who brought their requests and I approved them. Yes, the chair of Environmental Committee, yes, the Honorable Kareke Mbiuki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the notice of the following motion, that this House draft the report of the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resource on sessional paper number 1 of 2020 on the Kenya Wood Drive Service policy laid on the table of December 3rd, 2020, and further approves the sessional paper number 01 of 2020. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Where is nominated member Halima Mucheke? I had seen, or you are not aware that your motion was approved for, you are just reviving it. Are you ready? Or you want to do it tomorrow morning? Please. But, you know, once they come to my office, they don't take long. There's no reason for members' motions to remain in my place. So I believe, check with room number 9, I think that's or number 8.
Okay.
Next one.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Sorry, Honorable Osotsi, do I see, I had seen you on the
I'm here.
verandas, yeah?
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security regarding the recent directive by the Inspector General of Police on crackdown by the police on motorcycle riders, commonly referred to as border operators in the country. Honorable Speaker, the recent directive by the police on border riders who do not have licenses should be done within the confines of the law and in liaison with the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, who are the key stakeholders. As it is now, the police are harassing border riders, including those with licenses, and there seems to be no coordination between the two bodies. Honorable Speaker, the major challenge is that the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, has been slow in issuing licenses to border riders who have complied with all the requirements as per the law, including the acquisition of requisite documentation and undertaking the relevant trainings geared towards adherence to the traffic rules and behavioral change. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on the following. 1, could the ministry provide the number of licenses issued to border operators in the country since 2019? 2, what measures are in place to ensure proper coordination in handling the border operators by the police, the National Transport
Who is
and
this
Safety...
member? Who is this one? Please. Where are you? Where are you? You are in the National Assembly. You can't walk from here. Go out there. Sit there. Now, honestly, honorable members, I hope the recess period has not been so long as to make you forget the standing orders. Proceed, Honorable Sotsi.
Sorry, 2, what measures are in place to ensure proper coordination in handling border operators by the police, the National Transport and Safety Authority, and other relevant agencies. 3, explain why there have been inordinate delays in the issuance of licenses to border operators despite meeting all the requirements. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chair, National Security, I think that's the statement is directed at that. Honorable Koinange. Yeah, I'm sure you handle, yeah, very well. How long do you think you should provide this? 2 weeks? Sorry, on record. You know, when the future generations of this country want to know what the Honorable Koinange said, there's nobody capturing the gesticulations. We don't take photographs of that as part of the record. Even that one of raising one finger, it's not captured. That would suggest that the Honorable Koinange doesn't have his card. Is that so? How is it that... what? What are you doing? The Honorable Koinange, like the other honor members, forgotten.
I can still communicate the same for you.
Just a minute. Can you give him? Activate that.
Even this mic is not working. Even this one doesn't work.
Come on, this. Chair, come on, this.
What is happening?
Watch it. Yes, this.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. We'll do that statement within the next 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker.
In fact, I doubt whether that is also, has it been captured?
I have said 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker.
Now
we'll be able to give the statement.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Koinange. Next is the Honorable Richard Tongi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm here to issue a statement on the demise of former Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister, Honorable Simeon Nyachae. Honorable Speaker, it is with profound sorrow that I wish to make a statement regarding the untimely passing on of former Member of Parliament for Nyachae constituency and Cabinet Minister. Honorable Simeon Nyachae, on the afternoon of Monday, 1st February 2021, were undergoing treatment at Nairobi Hospital. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Simeon Nyachae was born on February 1932. He attended Nyachae Seventh-day Adventist School in 1941, and in 1947, he joined the Kereri Intermediate School. He later joined the Kisii Government African School from 1949 to 1953. He also attended Takel College and Churchill College, a constituent college of Cambridge University, both in the UK or United Kingdom. Honorable Nyachae later on went to study public administration in London before returning to Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the late Nyachae began his career in the civil service as a revenue clerk and was later posted as a district officer in Ukwara in Siaya, Kajiado, Machakos Central, and Makueni. He became a district commissioner in December 1963 in the 10 Nyandarua district, and thereafter served as a provincial commissioner from 1965 to 1979. In the 10 Nairobi extended province, he served in Rift Valley province, in Central province. He also served as a permanent secretary for the cabinet affairs in the office of the President. He served as a Chief Secretary and the Head of Civil Service under His Excellency, the late President Daniel Arap Moi. In 1992, the late Honorable Nyachae left the civil service to join politics and was elected as the Nyachae Member of Parliament. He was appointed as the Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Finance, and Minister for Trade. The late Honorable Nyachae was a presidential candidate under the Ford People Party ticket in the year 2002 general election, but lost to His Excellency the President Mwai Kibaki. He thereafter served under Kibaki's regime as a cabinet minister for energy and later as a minister for roads. Honorable Nyachae retired from the active politics in the year 2007. The late Honorable Nyachae was an astute civil servant, a respected family man, an admirable politician, a successful businessman, my personal mentor, Mr. Speaker, and a mentor to many people who had a chance to interact with him. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf, on behalf of my family, and on behalf of the people of Nyachae, where I represent them as their Member of Parliament, I wish you to take this opportunity to condole with the family of the late Simeon Nyachae, the people of Kisii County at large, all his friends, relatives, and the people of Kenya at this difficult time. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, I request that we all stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of our departed colleague and hero, who is among the founders of this nation, who stood with Kenya when they needed him most. Fair team mzee, fair ti well Omogaka. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yours, Honorable Richard Nyagaka Tongi, Member of Parliament, Nyachae. Thank you.
Do I see the... Sorry. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Member for Kipipiri, leader majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to associate myself with a statement by Honorable Tongi and to take this opportunity on my own behalf, my family, and the people of Kipipiri to send my condolences to the family of the late Simeon Nyachae and the great people of Kisii, the greater Kisii that he represented, and indeed the entire people of Kenya who he served with dedication in his time through the provincial administration as well as the in Parliament and in Cabinet. I knew the late Nyachae when he served in Nyandarua as an administrator, when we were all young and we had to go lining up every time the administration was visiting when we were in school, and we could see the discipline. And then eventually met him again when as a member of ISPAC and in the leadership of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, when he was Minister for Finance, and where he really supported some of the initiatives. Eventually, getting to meet him here in the House when I joined in December of 2002, and we served together as members of Parliament. And then he joined us in Cabinet in 2005, all the way to 2007. So I've seen him through different facets in his administration, in Parliament, when he was in Treasury, as a colleague in Cabinet. And I can say he was not only just a friend, but a mentor to many, and fully dedicated Kenyan who was very proud to be Kenyan and to serve the national cause. I know we will miss him. And I know even in 2007, by the time he retired, he never quite stopped his farming activities. I visited his home in Kisii. I know he was a great supporter of culture in Kisii through the Cultural Week, which he invited me to, and I got to see what was happening. So I believe it's an example of the kind of people we need in this country to create change, and we'll miss him. And I can only join the many Kenyans who are wishing that may his soul rest in eternal peace, and may his family find the solace and comfort to bear the loss, and the people of Kisii who know that the rest of Kenya stands with them to mourn this great son. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Bandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to express my condolences, together with that of my family, the constituents of Suba South I represent in this House, and also the Orange Democratic Movement Party, which I chair, and the minority side of the House, in expressing our deep condolences to the family, friends, relatives of the late Simeon Nyachae. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say a few things regarding this fallen hero. That, Mr. Speaker, the great Simeon Nyachae was a great leader in this country. All of us would attest to that. There are certain characteristics, certain character that he had that I think could be admired by many. He is the first cabinet minister in office to say publicly that Kenya is broke. Mr. Speaker, at a time when KANU was real Baba na Mama, and actually at that time, the power of KANU could not allow anyone to have divergent view, especially from within. And no one can attest to this other than you, Mr. Speaker, who was a prominent member of the Mama na Baba party. So, Mr. Speaker, to gather courage at such time to tell Kenyans the truth was not very easy. Something else to talk about Nyachae is when we remember the title Chief Secretary, the only name that comes to mind is the great Simeon Nyachae. And I think he has served this country diligently, although towards his sunset years, we heard little about him. But, Mr. Speaker, that was because of his failing health condition. And this goes a long way into challenging us as leaders, that when leaders make a contribution to this nation, there is need to always keep them in public limelight, and so that we don't only hear about them when now they pass on. Mr. Speaker, that is something to think about. I don't know how well this can be done, but I think something can be done about it. Mr. Speaker, we heard about Kenneth Matiba just when he passed on, after making a huge and immense contribution towards the democratization of this country. The same has also happened to Simeon Nyachae. And not just Nyachae, many, many other Kenyans who have made a contribution and a difference in the lives of Kenyans. Some of the benefits that we enjoy today is as a result of some of these Kenyans who came ahead of us and led this nation. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to also join in the condolences and sending the condolences for the death of Simeon Nyachae. May Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. Amen.
Duale. Kitu kameleta taabu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me join the rest of yeah.
let me join the rest of Kenyans and this House in sending my condolences and that of the people of Garissa Township to the family and to the entire leadership and people of Kisii County and Nyamira County following the death of a celebrated public service and a respectable politician, the late Simeon Nyachae. Mr. Speaker, I didn't have the opportunity to serve with Simeon Nyachae in Parliament. But Simeon Nyachae worked with great people from my community and from my region. He worked with Senator Yusuf Haji. He worked with retired General Mohammed during their days. And Simeon Nyachae is well known and respected in the northern part of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, people like Simeon Nyachae and people like Ambassador Mudaura are people when they are in government and they are in critical position, that government is very stable. And I'm sure Kenya listening to me today in the Jubilee administration, we miss the character and the person of Ambassador Mudaura, the character and the person of Simeon Nyachae. You know, astute public service with great leadership who understand the communities and the regions in this country. So I hope that President Uhuru Kenyatta, going forward, will look for men and women of those character. So, Speaker, the other thing that I want to say it, that Simeon Nyachae, as we celebrate him, will be remembered when history is written, that Simeon Nyachae, and I was a young politician and a member of LDP in 2002, and the politics of deceit, the politics of backstabbing didn't start the other day. You know, Simeon Nyachae, in 2002, when NAC was coming together, at some stage we promised, some people promised Simeon Nyachae to be the flag bearer of the NAC, only for him to be shortchanged at Uhuru Park. At least when we were in Serena, he was our candidate. He was our candidate. But when we came to Uhuru Park, things changed. And that was what led to the Kibaki Tosha. We didn't make a mistake because the Kibaki Tosha became a great man. And Kenyans will remember Kibaki for the rest of their life. So, but the politics of deceit will be remembered when somebody will write the politics of deceit and betrayal. Simeon Nyachae will have a chapter, and 2002 politics will be played. I pray that his soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On my behalf and the behalf of the great people of Kiminini constituency and Trans Nzoia County at large, we bring our message of condolences, Mr. Speaker, to the family of the late Simeon Nyachae. Mr. Speaker, the late Simeon Nyachae was a no-nonsense politician. He was a very principled politician, Mr. Speaker, and he's somebody who had risen through the ranks. Mr. Speaker, will remember him when the army was the party leader of 40 people, with the slogan of 40 people, watu wengi wengi sana. Mr. Speaker, at this difficult moment, we pray for the family that may the Almighty God give the family of Nyachae strength and comfort at this difficult time. Thank you, and may his soul rest in peace.
Honorable Mose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to pass my condolences, that of my family and that of the people of Kitutu Masaba for the untimely demise of this great son of Kisii. Mr. Speaker, Simeon Nyachae is an icon. Simeon Nyachae was a great leader, not only of the Kisii community, but a leader that transcended boundaries, that transcended jurisdictions, and became an international character. Honorable Speaker, the late Simeon Nyachae was a great disciplinarian. I'll correct, Honorable Speaker, when we were in the university, Nyachae's name was Oliver. And indeed, for the Kisii community, Nyachae was one of those leaders that we as young students of the university then would always aspire to emulate. He was industrious, he was enterprising, and his position, both as an administrator, as a politician, and as a businessman, would go down to the annals of history. We want to convey our deepest condolences to the family, to the Kisii community, and to the entire country for losing a leader who has left a mark in the history of this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Funyula.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. On behalf of the people of Funyula constituency and on behalf of the people of Busia County, we send our sincere condolences to the family of Honorable Simeon Nyachae. Many of us remember Simeon Nyachae during his days in the public service, ranging from a district officer to the DC to the PC then. His way of doing things was legendary, and many provincial administrators, starting from the chief and assistant chiefs, would tremble on hearing his name being mentioned anywhere. He was part of the discipline that was characterized by the two regimes of the First Republic of this country. We do indeed will miss his discipline and hard work. As a politician, he held sway all over the country, and for sure, all those things are the things that we remember him about. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, such respected statesmen, such respected leaders in the community deserve all the respect they require at the time of death and at the time when we are mourning them. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I send my sincere condolences to the family and the entire Gusii community.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also add on to the messages of condolences to the family of the late Simon Nyachae, together with the whole community of Kisii. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of Kipkelion East and the entire Kericho County, which is a neighbor to Kisii, we are really sorry for the loss of Mzee Nyachae. Nyachae is both as a representative of successful politicians who went through very long process of development in this country, and also, Mr. Speaker, a serious and very successful civil servant. Mr. Speaker, as we are speaking now, Mr. Speaker, he is actually a representative of the civil servants who stood very firm to ensure that there was discipline in how affairs of this country were run. Mr. Speaker, I remember one time that the late Mzee Moi said that there is a difference between dictatorship and discipline. And I think that is the representative of people like Nyachae. Nyachae was very strict, but he was very strict because he wanted people to work in a very strict manner to ensure that they deliver services to the people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say we have really lost somebody who is worth copying as the young generation of leaders in this country. Mr. Speaker, I wish also to take this opportunity to also join the family of the late Ambassador Ernest Langat from Kericho, who was also a civil servant, and he was following the steps of Nyachae, who we lost also, who we lost this week. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity.
Nominee 001.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker,
for giving me this opportunity to also send my sincere condolences on behalf of myself, on behalf of the 6.5 million Kenyans with disability I represent this House, to their family and the great people of the Abokusi land for losing such a great hero. Honorable Speaker, I also want to state that Honorable the late Nyachae was a resident of Narok, was a neighbor to most of us, and in Narok, he was a great wheat farmer and a great person who loved environment, and we learned a lot as a community of Narok from him. He was very genuine and very friendly to all the people who interacted with him in Narok. Honorable Speaker, his farm borders on our gemstone, which is called the Pruko Development Authority, where Maasais keep livestock and grow wheat and barley for the sake of the sons and daughters of Pruko of future generation. Honorable Speaker, and the late Honorable Nyachae have been of a lot of assistance to us, the people of Narok. So we send our sincere condolences also on behalf of the people of Narok to the family of Honorable the late Simeon Nyachae. May his soul rest in peace. May he fly with the angel, because I believe he was one of the angels that was here on earth. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Kandui. The mic. No. I think you need to, maybe we need to cut you a bit, to cut you down a bit. I think then we can deal with, we can allow others who are not as tall as you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I would like, on my own behalf, and on behalf of the people of Kandui and the larger Bungoma County, convey our condolence message to the family and friends of the Honorable Simeon Nyachae. Mr. Speaker, besides being a dedicated career civil servant, the Honorable Simeon Nyachae left a mark in this country's leadership. I had the privilege of serving with him both in the civil service and in this arena, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Nyachae also led one of the offshoots of Ford Kenya, Ford People Party. And as the leader of Ford People, you remember he ran for president of this country. Mr. Speaker, we lost him at a time when we are struggling to strengthen our democracy in the country with our parties, the Ford Kenya counterparts, the parties that are in this country, Mr. Speaker. So I would like, Mr. Speaker, as I send my message of condolence to the family, friends, and the people of Gusii, to, Mr. Speaker, pray that God gives them the comfort and strength at this time and rests his soul in eternal peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Bomachoge Borabu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity also to share my memories about Honorable the late Honorable Simeon Nyachae.
Please, honorable members, you know, the person you are eulogizing is somebody well known to, I'm sure, very many of us. He is not a villager, so don't make it a village matter. And like some of you are just arriving in and coming to seek my intervention, we are actually ending this matter in the next 3 minutes. So please don't even bother. Don't even bother. No, he's actually, and please, I will always look with disfavor anybody who comes to campaign for a slot to speak from here. So if you are here, maybe you could actually just take leave, you will not speak. Like the member to my immediate left. So please, I'm sure he may be used to walking into podiums. Please, Honorable Osoro, don't worry. The Honorable Nyachae, the late Simeon Nyachae, is a nationalist. He's a national leader. And please, it's only fair that we allow a spectrum of members from all corners of the country to condole with the family. Okay, the Honorable Momanyi says he wasn't a boxer. I'm not too sure about that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that clarification to the rest of the members. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the man who we are here utilizing is a person who has left a lot of footprints in the lives of Kenyans. As one of the civil servants, the late Nyachae demonstrated what it means to grow on merit in the ranks of the government. Was a well-educated person who earned his promotions based on his credentials. And I think he looks a good model for the rest of the Kenyans who are working for this country that have done a lot of work and perhaps have not been recognized. I want to say that at the county level, the late Nyachae left a lot of memorable landmarks. He set up cultural villages that picks up about the wealth of the Kisii lifestyle. At the national level, we know he was a wealth mover. And many people have enumerated him. And even as a political leader, he stood tall.
Member for Alego Usonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I join my colleagues on behalf of my family and the people of Alego Usonga to pass my condolences to the family of the late Simeon Nyachae. Honorable Speaker, I met the late Simeon Nyachae through his family members. I know a number of his siblings, his children. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that during my previous life, I also had the opportunity to interact with the business interests of the late Simeon Nyachae. Honorable Speaker, Simeon Nyachae was one politician who did clean business. He was in the tea and the milling sector. And at one point, I presided over his banking business. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that Simeon Nyachae, unlike most of us, most politicians, who form companies, briefcase companies, purely to fleece government, this one was doing clean business, and these businesses have stood the test of time. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, Simeon Nyachae was a polygamous man. He had 4 wives and many children, more than 35. But Honorable Speaker, this is a big challenge to most of us. A number of us have tried to even have 2 wives, and they have not been able. You know, I have read reports where wives are beating a number of politicians for trying to introduce second wives. And so I want most of the men here who are trying to have 2 wives, please go and learn from the family of Nyachae. We have seen this family grow, and the family is very large and huge, but you never hear any conflict, you know. So, colleagues, you know, I know most of you are trying to have second wives. Please go and learn from there. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You know, Honorable Atandi, it was reported recently that you are missing, and I wanted to hear your voice. I hope that you are not. That is not the reason why you are missing.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I have not been missing. I've been in the constituency serving the great people of Alego Songa. Thank you.
Member for Emuru Dikir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also wish to convey my condolences to the family of the late Simeon Nyachae, a great man indeed, whom I interacted in my younger years when I joined politics in 2001. He's one great man. I read so much about him, especially when he was in the civil service, serving this country with diligence. Like what my colleague has said, Simeon Nyachae was the only, I think, he's almost the only cabinet secretary who once told us the truth about what was happening. So, Speaker, remember also he was the only chief secretary, a position which was introduced and removed after his exit. He was a great man. We need to remember much. We need to learn from him and what he gave us as a society. So, Speaker, Simeon Nyachae, like I said, was my first party leader. When I first tried to contest in Kilgoris in 2002 on his Ford People ticket, and he actually introduced me to serious politics, because up to now, I've been moving from one party to the other, but I think I learned some good things from Simeon Nyachae. I want to say, as a friend, and many of us, including my colleague here, Tuwei, and the late Kipkalia Kones, we are the very people in that part of our country who followed Nyachae vehemently. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say poleni sana to the family. Thank you.
Honorable Shamala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to pay tribute to the late Honorable Simeon Nyachae. His sterling career in civil service and as a politician takes us back to a time of a disciplined society, especially against the backdrop of what we have witnessed in the last year as one of the consequences of the corona pandemic and the increased societal pressure manifesting in gruesome murders and gender-based violence. It reminds us that strong families, like the one that the Honorable Simeon Nyachae led, are the units and the bedrock of sound societies. Over and above being an accomplished career public servant, Honorable Nyachae was a patriarch and an anchor to his family. May he rest in eternal peace, and my sincere condolences to his entire family and to us, the nation of Kenya.
Honorable Passaris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, I rise to pay tribute for myself, my family, and the county of Nairobi to the family of Simeon Nyachae and the people of Kisii and indeed the entire country. Simeon Nyachae was a man who was not just a politician, a civil servant, but also an astute businessman. And he made his mark, he left his mark. In this country, I believe that everybody that looks into the history books will realize that there was a man called Simeon Nyachae who played a role in this country. He also ran for president. That means he cared about this country and the future of this country. So what we can take back as citizens is the discipline that he had as a leader, the discipline and the commitment that he had as a family man, and the discipline that he had also in working and transforming himself and creating opportunity in terms of business. So may his soul rest in eternal peace, and we say pole to everyone that has been affected and impacted by the loss of this great leader of our country, Simeon Nyachae. May his soul rest in peace.
Member for Kangema.
Kuja hapa.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to give tribute to Simeon Nyachae. He left an indelible mark this country, and a mark that should be enumerated, should be followed by many of us. I want to mention one fact that has not been mentioned by my colleagues here. Simeon was so principled in his career that at a time when he felt that he could not work with the government at his time, a government that had made him a minister, he elected to resign from when he was transferred from finance to industry. He decided and he elected to resign from that government. That is a mark that we should all learn from. When we differ in a government, we differ with a government that we serve. We should have the honor and the courage to leave that government and go to serve elsewhere. The other principle he also left an indelible mark was that he chose when to retire instead of being forced to retire. With those few remarks, sir, I beg to pay that tribute.
Honorable Owen Baye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also would like to join colleagues to pay tribute to the great Simeon Nyachae, who was one of the nationalists that have lived in our time. Simeon Nyachae, I think, brought a great impact on civil service and actually showed this country how honest leadership within the civil service could actually bring out a civil service that could deliver services. I think I remember his history because he was one of the most effective district commissioners and provincial commissioners in terms of service delivery to the people. This country right now lacks such leadership in the provincial administration and in the civil service. And when he was Secretary to Cabinet Chief Secretary, I think we saw a government that was working, a government that was delivering services, a dedicated man who worked for his country for the sake of the people of the country. And I think these are lessons that we are learning from such a great nationalist. And I never had an opportunity to work with him, but I think history will let our children and grandchildren know that in this country once lived one Simeon Nyachae who contributed immensely to this country. I thank you and condole with the family.
Honorable Iringo Kubai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to send my heartfelt condolences from me and my family and the great people of Wegembe Central to the family of Honorable Simon Nyachae, and thank God for his life, which he lived very well, and also for the work he has done indeed for this country, and for the mentorship he gave to many people, especially in the civil service and also here in the politics in this August House. And I believe he has also left a big mark to his people of Kisii and the nation at large. And ours is just to thank God for his life and also to wish his family well. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Honorable Mani.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this chance, Mr. Speaker. Also to pay tribute to the great son of the Abakusi, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Borabu, we wish to convey our condolences to the family and the friends of former Minister, Mr. Nyachae, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the other speakers have said, Mr. Nyachae is one person who was dedicated to any position that he was given in government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Nyachae was a person who was honest enough even to tell his former president, the late Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, the truth, Mr. Speaker, when it was not possible for anybody to face the former president and tell him the truth, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a community, we have lost a great man, a great leader, not only for the Kisii community, Mr. Speaker, but for the whole country. May the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace, Mr. Speaker.
Beatrice Cones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Bomet East and the greater Bomet County, I would like to take this opportunity to convey my sincere condolence to the family of the late Honorable Simon Nyachae, which I want to remember him for the great work he did for this country. And fondly, I want to say the late Simon Nyachae managed to convince my husband, the late Kipkalia Kwanez, to ditch KANU in the year 2002 and run on 4 people ticket. The late Simon Nyachae was a true friend because when my husband lost the seat, he managed to nominate him back to parliament. So Mr. Nyachae was an astute politician, he was a true leader, and he was a servant of the people. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Member for Kitutu Nyachae South.
Mr. Speaker, kwa sababu ningependa nizungumze haya kwa Kiswahili, pole kwa kuzungumza Kiingereza. Ningependa kusema kuwa mzee Nyachae ni mzee ambaye kwa jamii ya Mkisii anaheshimika. Mzee Nyachae alifanya kazi na mzee Moi, na bahati yangu ni kuwa mzee Nyachae alifanya pia kazi na baba yangu ambaye alikuwa mbunge hapa, mzee Dr. Zachary Onyonka. Wakati bibi wa mzee Nyachae alifariki mwaka uliopita, ndugu Spika, niliona ni hisani yangu na heshima kubwa kuenda pale nimzungumzie huyu mzee, kwa sababu nilikuwa sijamzungumzia tangu miaka 15 ilivyopita. Na nilipoenda kumzungumzia siku kabla ya matanga, tulizungumza, akanizungumzia, akaniambia, unajua mimi na babako tulikuwa ni mvutano, nivute nikuvute. Lakini ule ulikuwa mvutano wa kiume, lakini ulikuwa mvutano wa kiheshima. Hatukuwa na matusi, tulikuwa tumekuwa na njia tofauti, tulikuwa na fikira vile Kenya inataka kuendelea, ama hata jamii ya Mkisii. Lakini heshima nilimpa babako na yeye na hakika alinipa heshima, kwa sababu tulikuwa tunaheshimiana ingawa tulikuwa wapinzani. Na kwangu, ndugu Spika, ndio juzi nilisema kuwa nilikuwa na furaha ule mzee kuniambia kuwa kwa maisha yake ya mwisho hakuwa na shida na familia yangu, familia ya Mheshimiwa Dr. Onyonka. Kwa hivyo ningependa kusema hapa kwa hili jumba la bunge kuwa mzee Nyachae ni mzee tulimheshimu, ni mzee ambaye anaheshimika Kenya mzima. Nyinyi viongozi ambao mko hapa, haswa wakati huu ambao nchi yetu inahitaji watu ambao wana roho safi, wana akili timamu na wana nia njema kwa nchi yetu. Tujaribu kujadiliana na kuzungumza kati yetu ili tusije tukasukuma nchi yetu ikaenda kwa mrama. Ningependa kusema kuwa Mungu amweke pema peponi huyu mzee na familia yake, tutawaombea na tunatarajia kuwa hata kama watakuwa na mambo fulani mazito mazito, mzee alikuwa na marafiki chungu nzima. Kwa hivyo naendelea kuwa familia yake waendelee kuzungumza, wakubaliane, kwa sababu jina la mzee Nyachae linataka liachwe kule juu ambako mashujaa wa nchi ya Kenya.
Member for Bomachoge Nyachae. This Nyachae, yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Myself, my family, and the good people of Machoge Nyachae, we condole them, say Nyachae. Nyachae was a very good Mse. In fact, as a country, we have lost a man. In Kisii, he made our community to shine across the country. I remember in 2002, he made a party called Ford People. And the party swept everything in the region. He was a very unifying factor in our region. He was a very successful politician and a civil servant. What we can learn from that of Mzee Nyachae, if we live a life, Honorable Speaker, that is transparent, we live to harvest good deeds ahead of us. Otherwise, let him say rest in peace, and we say pole to the family. Thank you.
Member for Tharaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me kindly to also convey my sincerest condolences to the family of the late Simeon Nyachae, the son of Senior Chief, Paramount Chief, Musa Nyandusi. On behalf of the people of Tharaka, it saddens the country to lose such an astute leader, a leader acknowledged from all spheres of life that he was actually a great man. I may not have met the late Nyachae, but I met him by proxy through his son, Charles Ayako Nyachae, another great man served by a great man who has also rendered great services to this country. And it is in view of that I stand to say, pole to that family, and may the old man rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Very well. That concludes that matter, and we say, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, appointment of members to the House Business Committee.
Leader of Majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 171-1, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the House Business Committee, in addition to those specified at the paragraphs A, B, C, D, and E. Number 1, the Honorable Joyce Akai Emaniko, MP. Number 2, the Honorable Shadrach John Mose, MP. Number 3, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, MP. The Honorable Mohammed Abdikaim Osman, MP. The Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP. The Honorable Mishi Juma Hamisi Boko, MP. And the Honorable Godfrey Osotsi, MP. Honorable Speaker, as members will be aware, this is a sessional committee that is appointed for each and every session to guide the business that will be coming before the House. And the members have been members of this committee. They have acquired the necessary experience. And hence, from our own, as the leadership of the House, we looked and said there's no point in changing, especially as we move towards the tail end. We need experienced hands. And since they have proved themselves in terms of attendance, in terms of participation, then we would like to urge the rest of the House to approve the membership so that we can immediately move into committee and generate business for the rest of the House. Until we have appointed these members, there will be no business appearing on the order paper. So it's a very important step, and I know the membership has never disappointed. Hence, I want to really move and ask the leader of the minority party to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I second, I just want to say that this is a very crucial committee. This is a committee that prioritizes and arranges and plans the business of the House and the affairs of this House in general. This committee, the same members we are proposing to sit in this committee are the same ones who were in the last session. And as the Leader of Majority has said it, it is true that these members have demonstrated commitment to their work. I think this is one of the committees that have the highest attendance in terms of regularity of the members attending the meetings. Looking at the names, there is not even a single member we would have issues with. And that is why both the Leader of Majority and myself have decided to retain the same membership of the House Business Committee. And I ask this House to approve these members to sit in this committee so that we can have business going forward. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I want to second.
Can I have okay, honourable members, I propose a question, which is that pursuant to the provisions standing under number 171, subsection 1, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the House Business Committee, in addition to those specified under paragraphs A, B, C, D, and E, to wit, 1, the Honorable Joyce Akai Emaniko, MP. 2, the Honorable Shadrach John Mose, MP. 3, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, MP. 4, the Honorable Mohammed Abdikaim Osman, MP. 5, the Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP. 6, the Honorable Mishi Juma Hamis Boko, MP. 7, the Honorable Godfrey Osotsi, MP. Are there members who, I put the question? Or I can see the member for Kisumu, who is also the local chapter chairman of APNAC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for allowing me to ask. You know, Mr. Speaker, this is a sessional committee. And I think the very purpose of the sessional committees was that it allows participation by a number of members of parliament who can be trained towards this particular activity. As much as I understand that it is good that there are others who have been there and they have performed well, I think does this not go against the whole aspect of training others in succession, by way of succession planning? That's my comments. Otherwise, I have no other comment in respect. Thank you.
Well, there's an independent member. You may wish to note that. There's an independent member in that committee. There's both an independent and a nominated. I think the leadership, as both the leader majority and the leader minority, have tried as much as possible to ensure that there's a representation of various shades. But also, of course, you have a point on about Shakir Shabir. Except that, of course, at this 5th session, the moment you'll be moving members from one committee to the other, you may require perhaps then to shake the entire committees. Because, you know, you move a member from this, you must replace with another one, and then, so you may have to do a lot of consultation, but you have a point. You are at the liberty, of course, in this motion to even propose a substitution. Yeah? Do I see? I say concur, there's unanimity. Very well, honor members. Just talk to the member you are comfortable talking to. That pursuant, I put the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of standing under number 171, subsection 1, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the House Business Committee, in addition to those specified under paragraphs A, B, C, D, and E. 1, the Honorable Joyce Akai Emaniko, MP. 2, the Honorable Shadrach John Mose, MP. 3, the Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, MP. 4, the Honorable Mohammed Abdikaim Osman, MP. 5, the Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP. 6, the Honorable Mishi Juma Hamis Mboko, MP, and 7, the Honorable Godfrey Osotsi, MP. Will as many as for that opinion say aye? And will as many as for the counter opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Anything else? Very well, honourable members. Time being 3:57 p.m., the House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 10th of February 2021 at 9:30 a.m. And as we adjourn, I wish to invite members of the new House Business Committee to its first meeting to be held as the House rises in committee room number 9.